Yo, Buck Nation, it's your Rude Boy Swagudelo, and thanks for tuning in to Tuff Bucs. We finally made it to week 1 of the regular season, folks. Let's go, baby! The Buck crew is now ready to embark on a journey in search of the ultimate booty. Whoa. Get your head out of the gutter, kids. That's treasure in pirate talk. And the ultimate booty is the Super Bowl. Psych! That ain't happening, but one can only dream. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at our week 1 matchup against the overhyped San Francisco 49ers. So let's giddy up. As I mentioned in my last video, I've had this game circled on my calendar ever since I heard the news that my favorite Buck, Tyrilla, aka Kwon Alexander, accepted a monster deal with the 49ers, making him one of the highest paid linebackers in the league. So in homage to my main man, I'm wearing his shirt. Tyrilla, we coming for you, bro! So the Buccaneers had a promising preseason, going 3-1, but we all know there's no stock in those games. There were a couple of things that stood out that I'd like all of us to keep an eye out on at the start of the regular season. The new scheme Todd Bowles has implemented to the defense has given the defensive backs confidence and allowing them to play more aggressive at the line. The entire position had some good reps in the preseason, and with the sudden depth, they now have the ability to rotate if needed. Bruce Arians went as far as to say the secondary is fixed. Now that it's week 1, it's time for the Bucs secondary to prove themselves and swashbuck the heck out of the 49ers receivers. Moving on to the offense, the first team offensive line looked awful against the rush. The entire position as a whole gave up a total of 19 sacks during the preseason, by far the most in the league. And quite frankly, that ain't gonna be good enough, especially when they're the 5th highest paid O-line in the league. It does seem as though the line do have a slight learning curve, but I think they'll get it together eventually. Alright, so let's talk about the 49ers. Tampa Bay Ring of Honor member and general manager of the 49ers, John Lynch, made it a point in the offseason to get players that can put pressure on the quarterback. And they did so by drafting Ohio State's Nick Bosa with their first-round draft pick, as well as trading their 2020 second-round pick to the Kansas City Chiefs for edge rusher Dee Ford. However, Ford played in a 3-4 scheme most of his career and will now need to adapt to a 4-3 defense that the 49ers play in. Needless to say, there will be a learning curve for him. They're hoping that the added pressure will in turn ease the pressure on their defensive backs and force opposing quarterbacks to make errant throws and hopefully create more turnover opportunities. The 49ers defense were dead last in creating turnovers with only 7 total. That's an NFL record, boys and girls. Moving over to the offensive side of the ball for the 49ers, and let's start with the elephant in the room here, and that's Jimmy G, who's coming off of a season-ending ACL tear. Will he be able to have a bounce-back year? Yeah, sure, why not? But not in this game, folks. Pretty boy Jimmy's got all the assets to make him an elite quarterback. The real question here is if the 49ers can protect him and not get him hurt. The Niners also signed stud and former running back of the Atlanta Falcons, Tevin Coleman, who gives another explosive option for Kyle Shanahan. The receiving core for the 49ers is nothing to be fearful of. The one real threat that they do have is tight end George Kittle, who was the only Niner receiver to surpass 1,000 yards. Now that we're caught up with the 49ers, let's look at a key matchup in this game. Now this is a heavyweight matchup, folks. In the 2 meetings that Mike Evans had against cornerback Richard Sherman, he's had the upper hand. During their first meeting while Sherman was with the Seahawks, Mike Evans had 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. Albeit Sherman wasn't always covering Evans, but Mike was still able to get a contested touchdown on Sherman. In their second meeting last year against the 49ers, Evans wasn't able to record a touchdown, but he was able to get 116 yards with 2 receptions going for 42 yards and 34 yards. One thing to note with Sherman is that he does struggle with his play at the line of scrimmage, so keep an eye out on that. So some good news for Buccaneers fans, and that's Lavonte David, Vita Vea, Cameron Brate, and Mike Edwards were all full participants in practice. I'm expecting Lavonte and Cameron to play on Sunday. We'll just have to wait and see on Vita Vea's status, but if he can play, that would be awesome. So in this segment, I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on the betting lines for every Buccaneers game. I'll give you my spread pick, the over-under, and if there's a juicy prop bet, then I'll give you that as well. Mind you, I'm no professional gambler, so take these suggestions with a grain of salt, and don't come bitching at me if you lose. So there's no spread for this game. The Bucs are at home and the 49ers are 0-8 in their last 8 away games. Jimmy G will struggle like he did in the preseason, and I think the Bucs secondary will surprise a lot of critics. Jameis has too many weapons for the 49ers' weak secondary to contend with, even with Richard Sherman. The Bucs will win this game. 50 points is a lot and is saying that this is going to be a shootout or a sloppy game. Last year, these two teams were very weak defensively, and Vegas is betting on that to continue. Since it's so early in the season, the defenses haven't proven themselves yet, I'm going to take the over on this one. And that's our Week 1 preview of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the San Francisco 49ers. Let me know who you think will win by leaving a comment below. If you liked the video, hit the like and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you're a real tough buck, then click that bell icon so that you get real-time notifications on when new videos drop. If I'm not too turned up after the game, then maybe I'll produce a quick reaction video, but we'll have to wait and see. So until next time, Buck Nation, keep firing them cannons.